Okay, sound is all good? You guys can hear me? Okay, amazing. I will have my microphone back soon. It's just packed still somewhere in the land of I'm not sure where. Um, anyway, today's VIP day. So good morning. VIP day. Those of you that have been to a previous event of that I've offered, you kind of understand what that means. But to me, VIP day means that you know you're here for a reason, right? There's something within this material that's like speaking your language. So something within you is resonating to this material, to this, the way I'm delivering it, and that's awesome. So I'm so grateful that you're here. And if if you see the results of this material already, like Kelty had shared yesterday, like we're going to hear later from Kyle, like it is instant. That is amazing. But I do want you to recognize that if you haven't had these like big aha moments or like life-changing moments yet, that's also okay. Okay, so I do know for sure though that you've been opened up to a whole beautiful world of possibilities, and I hope that you can already feel that within you. You might even be starting to see signs of land. Did anybody yesterday focus on signs of land? Did you see? I love it because it fires me up. It gets me excited, and then it gives me, like, even if it's just a little in a game I'm playing with myself, well, and with the girls that that I am working with right now. Like signs of land is a really awesome way to just shift your vibration. So, I mean, feel free to share in the chat if you saw any signs of land, and remember that it's not silly. Like, I don't want you to feel like you might be judged in any way. It's actually really exciting, and we're here to totally get excited with you, right? So beyond that, how are the integration homework questions? How are you guys liking the homework? Like, it kind of just gives you an opportunity to go inward a little bit more, right? A little bit more awareness hopefully comes from it, and a little bit of a deeper understanding. So I hope you guys are really getting involved with the homework, journaling, like allowing yourself the ability to go deep with it, right? Like that, just no one else needs to read it. No one else needs to know what you're up to. You can kind of create this whole idea, this new model, which we're going to talk about today when we're doing these journaling, when we're writing, right? So let me know how it's going in the chat. If you're having realizations and you're like, my gosh, like this question blew everything open for me, I would love to hear. Okay. Today we're moving into the body. So remember the 4-step manifestation process we're going through in this masterclass. This is awareness, right? Number 1, everything is awareness. It's always awareness. It starts with awareness. Every step along the way is awareness. Okay, so it's continually expanding as well. Our awareness always is continuing expanding if we are continuing to grow or desiring to grow. Okay, number 2 is spirit. So we're basically tapping into something and recognizing that there is something bigger than our human action, right? Something bigger than our human inaction here as well. Like we are being supported in a different way, kind of taking the pressure off ourselves, out of that masculine and more into this feminine, okay, this understanding. So we covered spirit, and then we turned into the intellectual mind yesterday. And we started to understand that we get to choose, and we get to choose to detach from our physical world. And we get to choose to create any idea in our imagination, any idea. Okay. And then today, the embodiment of a new identity, Okay. So let's unpack this as we go through today. Okay. So a little bit of an itinerary, about 20 to the hour. I'm going to be interviewing one of my students, Kyle, who's on here today. Really excited about that. She's going to be sharing her own experience and how her life and awareness has shifted and changed since discovering this material, this model, and this community. Okay, so I'm really excited about that. And then after that, like I mentioned before, I'm going to lead you through a visualization. So we're going to be meeting a new version of ourselves. I don't want to say a future version of ourselves, because again, that entails a separation. So we're going to be meeting a new version of ourselves that we might have previously, even like previously to yesterday or the day before, or even today, we might not have been aware of, especially not to this degree. Okay. So doing the homework from yesterday, the integration homework, will be super duper helpful for this visualization as well. It'll help you just gather more information. And then if you haven't had a chance to do it, and especially if you are on the recording, I would pause it and do the homework and then come back and jump in, okay? So I do believe that, you know, it's pretty crucial and I think necessary to do these in order, to go through this masterclass in order. The 4-step manifestation process does not work if you start with the body. You know, that's kind of going the other way around from our 3D physical world and creating from there. So you need to start with awareness. So go back to the start, pause it, go back to the start and watch through, but do the homework one by one. And as soon as you can, right after you watch it, so you're in that energy with a different perspective, okay? So, and then before I close today, like I mentioned before, I'm going to share some details about courses, programs that are open within Rise Academy. And I have something super excited to share that I haven't shared yet, and it has to do with Costa Rica. So some of you might already be like, oh, I know what that is, but I'm going to share it after. Okay. So yesterday we spoke about existing from the inside out. Okay. Detaching from our current results and creating new ideas, new results in our imagination. Okay. This is the effortless way. This is the feminine way. And this is living and existing in spirit. Okay, we now all kind of understand what that means, right? Allowing something bigger than us to lead and cultivating this kind of like deep knowingness that everything we need is within us. Everything we need is within us. Hold on a second, I got to turn on the AC. I'm grateful for AC. This gets so hot. Okay, so think about that for a second. Everything we need is within us. Doesn't that feel like, it feels like a relief to me, right? It feels like a relief because it's kind of like this, you know how I told you I prior to having children, I was always traveling and always like, I was searching for something outside of myself, and maybe that's you right now, right? And that's okay. It's just awareness. It's all awareness, right? But isn't it cool to kind of come back and realize, holy moly, like it's all within me. Okay, I just need to become aware of it. And so we don't need to figure anything out. We don't need to stress or struggle or worry. We can exist in the energy of everything's happening exactly as it's meant to for me. That's amazing. Okay. But of course, we talked about this again yesterday as well. There's still a element of masculine that is vital, right? A vital piece of success, a vital piece of action. The action is, you know, kind of mechanical, kind of masculine, but it's not actually, in my opinion anyway, if it's taken in a certain way. Okay, if it's taken in a certain way from a different version of us, from the end scene or from the end result, okay? And remember that our awareness is always expanding. Like I've said probably 14 times, even just today alone, our awareness is always expanding, okay? So that end scene right now is just, you know, what we currently are perceiving as a possibility. Do you know what I mean? So it's constantly shifting, because I have come across people who don't choose or make a decision because they're afraid of blocking themselves from other opportunities. Maybe you can resonate with that to some degree. But what if we can play in the energy of it's this desire, this outcome, or something even better, right? It's this or something better. Feel that detachment that happens there. It's that I don't need you, but I would love you in my life. Okay. It's this or something even better. And so sometimes when, for example, if we are manifesting a beautiful house, if we're working on this like beautiful house and we're just so excited about it, we're in the, in the energy, all of the things, we're there, we're living in that house in our fourth dimension. And then the house sells and it's not us who bought it. What happens then? Then we're like, oh, it doesn't work, blah, blah, blah. So that's why I always say it's this or something even better. That everything is happening. I have such a belief that everything is happening exactly as it's meant to, that if that house sells, that means it wasn't for me. It's exactly like, sometimes if we're like, oh, I'm late, I need to go fast, I'm late. There's a reason, we all know this, right? There's a reason why. I'm like, no, you know what? I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. It's all good. And Lori, who's not on here live, but hi, Lori, on the replay. She told us actually on our call the other day about her son, who is, I believe he is, oh my gosh, I want to say 7. And he's so sweet. He's like, Mom, she's in kind of this frenzy as we sometimes, it's okay. We're human. We default back to these old patterns, old habits. And it's okay as long as we can catch ourselves, build the awareness. Hey, I'm doing this, and come back and choose again. No problem, right? And eventually we'll get better. But anyway, Quinn was like, Mama, it's okay. You're exactly where you're meant to be. And she was like, oh. So our children, those of you that have little ones, like they're always listening as well. My kids are always like, I manifested that. So it's awesome. It's amazing. We were talking about the other day on our call, like, imagine if like politicians lived like this. Imagine what that would do in our world. Imagine if more people realize that they are, in control of their thoughts and their feelings and their actions. Oh my goodness. Wow. What a shift, right? So I want you to kind of remember that. Let's play in the energy of like, it's this or something better, and detach. It's like, we'd have no attachment. That's why, I don't love manifesting specific things. It's more so about the feeling. Okay. And so let's talk about this more in a second here, but how does one become aware of a new version of us? Okay, this is something that's, it's pretty common question. How does one become aware of this? Through inner reflection and self-exploration. Every day, we are a student of ourselves. Okay, becoming aware of our current thoughts, our feelings, and our beliefs so we can choose again in anything we do. Excuse me. So even if, we are, ciao, Essie. Even if we are, let's say, I'm just going to use the example, we're at the grocery store and we're standing there at the cheese aisle and we're like, I love this, this camembert cheese. And then something inside of us is like, no, we can't, and it's reflection as far as like, why not? Like, what are my beliefs? Is it because of the price point? Is it because it's a few dollars more than the other cheese? Do you know what I mean? And then it's all about questioning. Why do I believe that? Why do I believe, if there's a limitation of or lack in my consciousness that believes that this cheese is too expensive, what does that tell me about my beliefs around money? What does that tell me about my beliefs around myself, my self-worth? Am I worth that cheese? Is that cheese really gonna like make me feel good and taste amazing and all the things? Okay. It's a good question, right? So that's what I mean, is we're constantly reflecting, we're constantly exploring, like any situation we have, any interaction. Oh, I noticed I felt this way when I was in the presence of this person. What's that about? What's that about? And it can be, it's okay to say like, oh, I realize now, I'm aware that this person triggers something in me, or they make me feel a certain way. And then you can choose where you go from there. You can choose to reprogram it, change the belief, or you can choose to, limit your time around the person, and that's okay as well. You're just aware of it, right? Okay. So that's how we change. That's how we become aware of a new version of us. Okay, through inner reflection and self-exploration. Okay, but there is a level of a burning desire that needs to be here, that needs to be present, right? We need to want to change our situation. Because if we are, happy with everything that's going on in our life, we have arrived, have arrived. I strongly believe that as humans, we'll never really arrive. Does that resonate? Like because we've got such a strong creative ability, that there's always the next level to become aware of. There's always going to be a next level. It's never going to be enough. It's never going to be enough. It's interesting to ponder, right? And so there's kind of two sides to that. One being like, oh, well, there's, you should be happy with what you've got. You should be happy with blah, blah, blah. But there's always more to experience. There's always more to impact, and there's always more to give. All of those things come as a result of our own growth and our own expansion, right? Okay, so let me know if you're somebody in the comments, let me know if you're somebody who feels like you don't really have a burning desire yet, if you're still working on the burning desire, because that'll let me know that you're maybe just a little bit newer to trusting yourself and learning about yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that. As well, you guys, when you book your call, like, this is something that we can talk about. We can go through this together, and I can help you to, give you some prompts and some introspection work to help you to kind of uncover this or discover this a little bit more. Okay, I just want to share what Lynette said here. In my homework yesterday, I had a call with a friend, and during the call, I had this crazy vibe that I can take care of me and my health and still travel. Yes, just then I got a call from another friend sharing that her B&B is open for a week in Costa Rica. I'm looking forward to it. I could potentially look after me and host a tapping retreat. Yeah, you can. That's amazing. So good. So Lynette's really, from my experience of just knowing Lynette and working with her a little bit, like, she is so open. And as soon as she changes her awareness or her perspective or her intention, it's instant, right, Lynette? It happens all the time. Like, she'll get a message, like, as soon as we had our call one time, I think it happened more than once. Like, we talked about a certain thing, and right after, bam, like, message. It's so nuts. Okay, so it's kind of like what Kelty was talking about yesterday too, about her husband. Like, it's so beautiful. Not everyone is this open and receptive right away, but I will say we all can be. Don't, and instead of saying, oh, that's not me, I'm not open and receptive. No, don't say that. Change the language, right? Change the language and say, I am discovering ways how I am more open and receptive, and rewrite the story, right? Okay, Diane, thanks for sharing. Or Lynette, thanks for sharing. Okay, Diane, my desires have changed over the years. They are new now, and sometimes it takes time to adjust from old desires. We are ever evolving. Yes, I love that. It's such beautiful awareness. Okay, so good. Okay, so our visualization is going to help with discovering this kind of new version of us. It's also going to, the homework actually from yesterday and today is also going to help kind of just get some, like, rebuild some muscles. Okay, sometimes that's what it is we haven't used these muscles in like years, sometimes even decades. Okay, so that's really going to help. It really, truly, however, comes down to you making a decision and building the burning desire. Okay, I talked a little bit yesterday about that I don't want to make a desire. I'm just going to leave it up to the universe. Like, you need to make a desire, have this burning desire. You must make a decision, sorry, that things are going to shift, and then paint the picture. What does that look like? What does it feel like? Okay, so it's not so much about the material things or the monetary amounts. What is it? It's the feeling. Yes, I heard you. Okay, it's the feeling. Okay, Feeling is the secret. Anyone know the author to that book? Just testing you guys now. Neville Goddard. Neville Goddard. Kyle could have told us that. Larissa too, probably. Feeling is the secret. Neville Goddard. It is. It really, truly is. Okay. It's the awareness. It's the choices. It's through loving ourselves and trusting ourselves enough to know. Okay. And then we then see, now hopefully we can see that we get to choose our feelings and the outside world does not. We get to choose our feelings. Okay. So it's being aware as well of how certain things make you feel and ask yourself if you'd like to keep them around or not. Okay. This is beautiful because we get to choose. If something, isn't working, don't do it. Simple. Transition, pivot. It doesn't matter what other people are going to think. Doesn't matter. It's up to you. If it doesn't flow, it's all good. Choose again. And the beautiful thing is you get to choose. Okay, so in anything. So it's becoming a version of you who that is within you, is a vibrational match to your desired life or outcome. And so that version of you does not, what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't dim her light. She doesn't dim her light. He doesn't dim his light. He doesn't play small. He doesn't settle for less than comfortable, less than great. So often we cut ourselves short. Think of a time, even in our, day-to-day life, how do we cut ourselves? How do we sacrifice? And I get it that sometimes there is a sacrifice in life, and within certain relationships, certain things, but how can we shift it from a sacrifice into this holding space for evolution? Okay, in those situations. Okay, so it's about becoming aware of how this version of us thinks, feels, what they believe, and which action they take. Okay, so I was taught and actually used to teach. It's actually kind of lame to admit that, but it's true. I used to teach fake it till you make it. This was a long time ago. Prior to teaching manifestation, I used to coach in business, and probably for about 7, 8 years. Okay. And I used to teach because I didn't have the awareness I know now, right? That I have now. And so I used to teach fake it till you make it, kind of this energy of acting as if. Okay. You guys have probably all heard of that. This is why I disagree with it strongly. Okay. Yes. Okay. So although it might work for some people, it's unlikely. And here's why. So acting as if affirms that you don't fully believe it to be true, right? You're acting as if. Therefore, you're reaffirming to yourself that it's not true yet. It's not true. Okay, the reality is that you cannot fake your vibration. You cannot fake your vibration. Okay, so every thought, we talked about this a little bit before, every thought has a sponsoring thought. And so even though you might be telling yourself one thing, the belief is something else, right? Your vibration will reflect the something else, not the outside. Okay, so example, have you ever met someone or came across somebody who kind of had a weird energy? You're like, they seem happy. I can't really put my finger on it, and you're like, what's going on here? Okay, there's like, they smile and there's something, you see something in their eyes. It's a little bit, you've probably experienced that to some degree. Another example is, I've actually personally heard of this as well. A mother trying to be strong for her children when she's personally going through a really, really difficult time. The children still say, Mom, are you okay? They feel your vibration. Especially children are so sensitive to this and open, receptive, right? So we must become aware of those sponsoring thoughts and beliefs and change them. Stop them, okay? Here's the thing. If we become aware of our thoughts and we notice I'm thinking in lack and limitation, and we continue to give them energy, we continue to think, I don't have enough money, nothing's working out, like it's not working, like blah, blah, blah. We continue to give it thought. We're continuing to give it energy, and therefore it's continuing to manifest and grow. Okay. So as soon as we recognize, this is very important, as soon as we recognize those, thoughts of lack and limitation, we must stop them in their tracks. Okay, we must stop. When we affirm things, for example, sometimes when we're writing, so if we're writing our journal prompt from yesterday, our big, what did I call it? Big, beautiful, limitless life. If we're saying, I will be XYZ, words are so powerful. I will be is affirming it's not here yet. It will forever stay in the future. Okay, so I want you to really, really listen to the words that you're thinking, the words that you're saying and writing, and you need to write it as it is. It is here now. It is here now. Close that gap. Okay, that's also known as a quantum leap. Like I mentioned yesterday, we kind of play in the illogical, like non-linear. This is what I'm talking about, is we can actually collapse time through existing in this material. Of course, the less resistance we have around changing these beliefs is going to speed up that timeline, right? And collapse time. Okay. So we can convince ourselves, like we talked about yesterday, of anything. We can convince ourselves of anything. So let's start to convince ourselves of something else and speak it into the present, speak it into reality. We can change the belief with emotion, get emotionally involved with these new beliefs, connected into those desires, that desired outcome, whatever. And then I love this as well as build a new model. Build a new model that makes the old one obsolete. Bob Proctor says something along these lines, and I absolutely love it, because what we're doing here is we're building it's kind of like a program for a computer. We are rebuilding a new program for our computer, our internal software. Okay, and it's getting a complete upgrade. So I want you to, instead of the energy of it is coming, I am becoming, it will be, instead feel this energy of it's here now, right? I am living in joyful assumption that XYZ is happening. I'm existing in that energy. And what's happening is I'm seeing signs of land everywhere I go, because I'm looking for it. Okay, and sometimes we'll have moments where lack and limitation try to creep in. Guys, it happens to me all the time. And I just say no. I'm like, no, I am not existing in that energy anymore. I'm not choosing those thoughts. I know they're lies. Okay, I know they're lies. You can say that, because it is. The truth is in here. The truth is actually in here. So it's actually kind of funny sometimes. We've talked about it, Larissa and Kyle and Lori, how sometimes we create such a strong image and desire in our fourth dimension that we almost forget that it's not here yet. And somebody asks us, how is XYZ doing? And how is it going with blah, blah, blah? And you're like, oh yeah, it's not here yet. And you know what I mean? It's kind of like, it's delusional. And if you were to, and then in the reality, I'm like, well, in the 3D world, it's not going that well, to be honest. But in my imagination, it's a masterpiece, and that's okay. But don't let that derail you. I always, instead of saying it's not going very well, I would then say it's coming. It's on its way. You know what I mean? Instead of telling them straight up, like, it's, 3D world is like, it's a little bit of a lag. It's a lag. Okay. Just say it's on its way. It's happening. I'm so excited for it. Okay. It's completely different. So, let's see, just looking at some notes here. So I want you to ask yourself, as the best version of myself in any situation, what would she do? What would he do? What would she think? What would she feel? What action would she take? What would she believe? Okay, because for real, this version, for me personally, this version of me makes decisions in a millisecond. There's no pondering, there's no thinking about it. She trusts her intuition. She trusts the formless substance within her more than anything in her outside world. Okay, this is the truth. This is what I believe anyway. She trusts herself enough to know the how will come, right? She moves differently. I just want you guys to kind of play with this yourself and see that this is our true nature. This is our true nature, okay? The world we live in created lack and limitation. We talked about that on part 1, right? Humans are put here to thrive and enjoy our lives. We don't know why, why or how, but we are here now and we get to enjoy, we get to thrive. Okay, so I also want to add something on here before we open for an interview with Kyle. I also strongly believe that we are here to be entrepreneurs. I can't remember if I've shared this already on this masterclass, but I know we talked about it the other day on our call. So we are incredible creative beings. We are incredible creative beings that always want to create, where our spirit is, always for expansion and fuller expression. Job security, in my opinion, and maybe you guys can kind of relate to this, maybe not, but I have seen people with jobs that think their job is secure, their job comes to an end suddenly. Do you know what I mean? I'm sharing this because I actually received more than one of you guys watching on the recording that asked me for advice when it comes to online business, which is funny because, yeah, it's really interesting of the timing. So what I believe is secure is me. Each one of us. Each one of us. I trust me. Okay. I trust that I'll continue to follow my passion. I trust that I'll continue to evolve, becoming more aware of better versions of me along the way. I'll trust I'll pivot exactly when I need to, and I'll continue to show up. Okay. I'm the one that determines what happens next through my thoughts, feelings, and actions, not someone outside of me. I'm the one who determines my worth. Okay, think about that for a second. I'm the one who chooses my prices, not somebody else, me. Okay, and how do I do that? I do it from an internal perspective, a feeling, a tuning in, a living in spirit. Okay, so I'm going to teach this on a different masterclass, a wealth masterclass, which I'm super excited about because, more than a handful of people have asked about it this week. So that's coming soon. But the reality is, the bottom line is, if you're not open to receive, you won't. You won't. Okay. The vehicle does not matter. The vehicle does not matter. If you're not open to receive, you will not. So if we have beliefs that money is hard to make or comes from a result of a lot of hard work, or from a business or from an employer, there's this like direct change and exchange of time for money, that will be our experience. Okay, but if we believe wealthy people are all, assholes and money is the root of all evil, what's going to be our experience? That's just like putting up a giant stone wall between us and our ability to receive. There's many people that go around and, I don't want to like be negative or anything, but it's kind of like in the spiritual culture, there's this idea that money is evil. Has anyone ever experienced that? And I'm like, money is not evil. Money is actually a spiritual idea. Okay, what if money wasn't physical at all? What if money isn't physical? What if man didn't make money, but money came through man's consciousness? Okay, so I do believe it is now believe it is a spiritual idea. And what if all one must do is become an open vessel for good? Okay, for good. Yeah, of course, we can make money, doing bad things in the world, but I don't think it's going to last, and I don't think it's very wise, Okay, we're also not just sitting around. We're not just sitting around manifesting, hoping. dreaming, wishing, you know, although, like I said on my stories yesterday, guys, like it's not impossible for money to come out of nowhere. Yeah, money is an exchange. I think it's more than an exchange. So the law of compensation, which is another one of the absolute laws, states that we'll always be compensated in direct proportion to, number one, the need for what you do, number two, how good you are at it, and number three, your ability to be replaced. I'm going to put this in the chat because it's very, very vital. I know that we're kind of off topic here. Okay, but the $1 million question, who gets to decide these things? Is there like some committee in the sky? No, we do. We do. If we don't believe in us, then what? If we don't believe we're good at what we're doing, what we're offering, our courses, our programs, our yoga classes, what's going to happen? You know, that's the result we're going to get. So it all comes down, you see how this is such a beautiful embodiment? Okay, so we decide these things. Amazing. Okay, so let me know if this resonates with you and if you would come to a free masterclass on wealth. Let me know. Okay, so let's open up for an interview with Kyle if you're ready. Let me just stop sharing my computer sound for some reason. I love that. I love money. Diane says, I love money and I would count and recount my piggy bank. Thanks everyone who gave me the money for what I did for them. Yes. Oh, that's so lovely. Amazing. Yes, Lynette's in. Okay. Okay. Amazing. So I would love you to just introduce yourself for a second because there's a bunch of people on here that have never met you. So please, where are you? Where are you living currently? Yeah, tell us about you.
Hi everyone.
You're muted. Oh no, maybe it's just my volume. Sorry.
Oh,
you're good.
Okay. I'm Kai, and I'm coming from just a little south of Boston in the U.S., a little town called Halifax. And yeah, I have 2 little kids and a husband here. And yeah, I teach. I'm a yoga teacher, and I used to teach in schools. And yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. Okay. So we met. It's actually kind of funny how we met. You were in Costa Rica, but I don't think you actually met. We didn't meet when you were here, right?
I think we like crossed paths at a playground right near the beach, but didn't like, we were like, oh, hi, or whatever, and then went on.
It's funny, right?
Yeah, it's so crazy because when I came back, we all came back from Costa Rica, and on the way back, my husband and I were like, oh man, like it was such a beautiful trip. We're like going back to reality. Like we have to figure out, our daughter's just getting to next year, she'll be like kindergarten age. So we're like, oh, we have to figure out what we're going to do for school for her. We've been in limbo about where we're going to live. So we're like, we have to figure that out. We have so many things to figure out. We didn't know how we were going to figure it out. And that was the conversation on the way home in the plane. And then I got home and I was searching. I was still like fascinated by Costa Rica and all the things happening there, and found your course, Jocelyn, and then just took that. I think it was the end of March.
That was the masterclass, Manifest Masterclass. Yeah. So awesome. So what shifted? Like, I mean, the key word there is figuring it all out. You know, like you were trying to figure everything out. And so what do we know now? What happened once you even took that masterclass? What happened with that figuring it all out?
Yeah, I mean, so much happened. Just my awareness basically of myself and what was actually going on just expanded dramatically. Yeah, and sort of starting to let go of the figuring it all out, which had been probably blocking us, or definitely blocking us all along. But also it was really trusting myself that wasn't solid, and sort of being in this indecisive mode instead of. So yeah, it was just getting to be more aware of where I was.
Yeah. Totally. Amazing, right? So, can we talk a little bit about the school? So I know you don't really like to call it the school. Um, as some of you guys know, like I last year started a jungle school here in Costa Rica, and I think this is something that really connected Kai and I together. And I mean, I've been loving following how how she's just like stepped right out of that, figuring it all out and living from the 3D and operating from there and making decisions from there into creating this beautiful idea in her fourth dimension, in her imagination, and then just building this beautiful offering, right? So how do you feel like this, tell us a little bit about it, and then how do you feel this material helped you to make it happen?
Yeah, so we wanted to create something, an alternative forest school, not school though, even more free than that, for our kids and kids in our community. And I had this idea, and my husband had too, for a long time, but definitely didn't trust that could be in the 3D. But then since taking this course, I just started to trust those ideas that would come up, and like trust the image in my head, and like focus more on that imagination of it. And then Jocelyn, you kind of were like, well, because I was, and had been a pattern, like, oh, thinking of all this beautiful stuff, and then that will be in the future, right? Like, so I was even thinking that will happen next year, because my daughter is in a little preschool 3 days a week. But then Jocelyn was like, well, why don't you just kind of start, or like try it, get things going? And that was the scariest part, right? For me, that's why I think I was just being like, next year will be great. So this summer I just started and just put up some flyers, got some families together around here that are thinking similarly, an alternative path, and then continued this fall. We just ended our first 6-week session exploring around here, and it's really brought me back what you said about the feeling of it. It's so I'm still holding, now I'm working a lot on holding the end and who I am there, and I'm there now, but also really staying aware of the feeling, how it feels throughout it, and working from there.
I love that. So the awareness, this is something I really want you guys to understand, is like the awareness that she now has, because she started from the end, not just with the end in mind. It's like if the program was already functioning and it looked like this, what action would we take? And so what happened is, of course, it's not perfect. And this is kind of what we talked about yesterday about the cup, like it starts, but we don't have the awareness of what's missing or what needs to shift until we start. So how's your awareness now that you've actually started, and you, like you said, you have this, I love that you keep saying, like, I need to remember the feeling, because even, with me, with our jungle school, which is also a child-led program, it's very much, if somebody was like, but what about this? I feel strong enough in my belief to be like, I don't know yet, it's coming, or I need to sit with it a little bit. And I think that more people are opening up to that being okay. Working in partnership sometimes can be a little bit like, if somebody's very masculine dominated, but yeah. So your awareness now since starting, I can imagine is pretty different, right?
Yeah, it's shifted so much. And I think I am more aware of my tendencies to go back and forth between, like, sometimes I notice I'm still human, and like go back into like what the 3D looks like now and be like, well, this isn't what I envisioned, or like getting caught up, or like having feelings of like lack of trust in myself come up, and I hear them and I'm like, whoa, but I'm aware of them. And I just feel so much more like I have skills to navigate those situations and those
Yeah. Yeah.
Those old habits that come up. Yeah.
I love that. And I also believe that, like, just like the other day on the call, because we meet once a week, we're studying the book, The Power of Awareness right now. I think I already said that to you guys. But this week, it was just us on the call at the very beginning. And he said, I have to figure this part out, or I don't know where I want to go yet. And
Right,
so
comes back.
this is the power of support, of community, of surrounding yourselves with people who will hold you accountable. Because right away, I was able to be like, just little reminder, oh, there you are again, coming back into old. And again, I do it too, right? I do it too. And I remind myself, and my partner reminds me, you guys remind me through me teaching you, right? And leading you. So it's really powerful. So, yeah, moving and making decisions from that result has just such a different energy, I love that. Okay, so what's next? What's next for you? What do you feel is like, yeah, where are you at?
Just not just, but continuing to expand my own awareness of myself and listen, like keep sitting down and really tuning into that imagination and myself so that I can like take action from where my best self and where I want to be, where I am, but
yeah. Where I desire, yeah, how I desire to feel. That's such powerful awareness. And I say like often that the most important part of the work we can do is that internal, like, watching ourselves internally and also building the image inside. So like, yeah, sitting in the lounge chair with a cup of tea and just closing your eyes and allowing yourself to feel and living in that energy. That's amazing. That is the work. Okay. That is a big portion of the work. And from that energy, you'll get those inspiration to take action in a different way. Those different ideas that come as well. Okay, amazing. Thank you for sharing, Kyle. I'm so excited and so grateful that you are here, that you're so consistent and you're amazing. I can't wait to see what happens next and with your program as well. It's ever evolving. And I want to see you in Costa Rica this winter, this spring.
So yeah, but no, I think it's really this community, you're teaching and being part of the community that's helped. I feel supported to just go forward with everything. So I'm very grateful for all of you.
Amazing. Okay, thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Yeah, I love hearing you guys and how this material is helping you and supporting you and opening up your awareness. Like, it's a big deal for me. It's a big deal. So I'm cheering you on, whether you're sharing with me or not. I am cheering you on. Saying that, I am super looking forward to connecting with all of you that registered, those of you that are on live, on the recording. So make sure you book a call. I will try to reach out directly to connect in one-on-one because I really do want to support you and see how I can support you. Okay. So before we close out, before I talk anything more about what's open for enrollment within Rise Academy, I want to do a visualization. Okay. So if you're in a place to do so, I want you to get comfortable. Oh, awesome, Diane. So super looking forward to connecting. Okay, get comfortable, roll your shoulders up and back a few times. Just allow yourself a little moment of stillness. Take a full breath in through the nose, out through the mouth, and again in through the nose, out through the mouth. Okay. Bring to the screen of your mind an image of the ocean. I want you to take your awareness to the ocean. You're sitting on a beach, watching the waves. You take a breath and you feel the warm, salty air entering the nostrils. And you exhale through the mouth here. You're becoming aware of your surroundings. What does it look like? What time of day is it? Where is the tide at? How big are the waves? gathering more information, just observing your surroundings, sitting here on the beach. It's beautiful. It's the perfect temperature. You feel the sun on your skin, the sand under your feet. How do you feel? Take a breath here. And exhale. You feel relaxed. You feel at ease. And then you look to your right and you notice someone in the distance walking slowly towards you. Observing this person. Who is she with? Or who is he with? Who are they with? How does she move? How are they dressed? What are they wearing? They continue to walk closer along the shore of the beach. Getting closer to you, you begin to recognize this person. But there's something unique about them. As they get closer, you recognize that this person is you. It's a different version of you. You continue to observe them, their motions, their footsteps, their expressions, their energy. And they come even closer to you. They're so close that you can see their facial expressions. You can really feel their energy. And they look towards you and smile. What do you notice about this person? You have an opportunity to ask them a question. What is that question? You ask them now. You hear the answer clearly, and you say thank you. You receive it. With gratitude, you receive it. You wish them well, and they continue on their walk down the beach. You sit back down. You continue to observe this person, this version of you. You watch how they move. You watch how they play. You watch how they feel. And when you can no longer see them, you come back to sitting on the blanket you're sitting on, toes in the sand, and you take a breath. As you exhale, come back to your physical body right now. Wiggle your toes and your fingers, and slowly make your way back into your physical body. When you're ready, you can blink your eyes open. And I want you to take just a moment to reflect, okay? Grab a notebook, grab a piece of paper, whatever, write it down. What happened? What did you experience? This is so powerful because remember what we've been learning, that everything we need to know is inside of us. So when we're asking those questions, and maybe the first time we do it, maybe, we're newer to visualization and we're like, well, it didn't really work. Or like, I didn't hear anything. That's okay. Okay, the more you practice, hang out with this person, get to know them. Right? If you want to redo this specific visualization over and over and over again, you can. You don't need to listen to me. You can go to that place at any moment. Right? Hang out with this person, discover how they are, talk to them. Find out their beliefs, what's shifted in their life. You can feel, though, in that situation, in a visualization like that, you can feel the answers. You can feel the energy. So I'd love to hear if anyone feels called to share. You're more than welcome to share your experience of that visualization. If you had any like, wow, profound, or even just, holy moly experiences, I would love to hear. Okay, so yeah, take a moment. So fun. Okay. So to wrap up for today, I want to share a little bit about what we're up to behind the scenes, okay? So those of you that have been loving these 3 days together, maybe you're feeling called to stay in this energy and in this material, and that's amazing. Okay, I love that. If you are somebody, however, that feels like you got what you needed, you got what you're here for with this free masterclass, I'm super grateful for that. And I am so excited to, the door is always open to future masterclasses that are free, and as well as any of the courses or programs. Rise Academy is in full expansion mode, and I am so excited to continue to, till the door is always open. Okay, so I'm going to share first default to designed. Okay, I'm going to share my screen right now, so you should be able to see it. Let me know. You can see it? Okay, got it. So default to designed. Can you still just see default? Like you can see like the picture just, okay. Okay, so default to designed is something that you can think of it as a continuation of what we've been through the last 3 days together, okay? So you can think of it as a complete release of everything that was and currently is. So if you found that these 3 days were impactful for you, imagine spending 8 weeks together. That's what this is, okay? So my intention is to help you to facilitate this inner transformation of consciousness, to open you up to a world of unlimited possibilities, abundance, prosperity, and so much more, so that you can move into taking action from, okay, brush your teeth. So you can move into taking action and producing new results from this new level of awareness. Okay, so in the 8 weeks together, we're basically going to go all in, right? We're going to be unpacking. We're going to be rewriting, choosing new beliefs, and really truly stepping into designing our life, and living that life by our own design, okay? With those highest standards we talked about, those high standards that we can adopt, right? And we can remove our own beliefs that tell us they're not okay or whatever, okay? So like you can see on the picture, there's 2 options. So students have the option to opt in with the basic package. So that's just the course and proximity, which I'm going to show you. I'm going to share a different screen in a second, and I'll show you what proximity is. Or you can opt into the VIP, which is basically you going all in, right? You get the course, you get proximity, which is our community, And then you get one-on-one coaching weekly with me. Okay. And I want to say, like, I can be super flexible with payment plans as well. So I've broken them into 2 different payment plans, but if you need something else, just let me know. Okay. So we start November 20th right now. Okay. I want to say that as I was mapping out the days, because I wanted to do Mondays, the Mondays are Christmas Day and New Year's Day. And so it ends up that we're spending like 3 months together. So I might shift it to Tuesdays. I'm not exactly 100% sure, but we start around the 3rd week of November. Okay. Saying that, those of you that want to jump in sooner than later, you get full access to proximity starting on November 1st. So you get those like extra 3 weeks, which is pretty sweet. Okay. And I always make it's like a month each time. So let's talk about proximity. So I'm going to stop sharing this one for a second, and I'm going to share a different one. Just give me one moment. Proximity is a very, very important piece to Rise Academy, because I don't know about you guys, but I've been in courses before where there is no community aspect, and you're like, I feel alone. You know, I feel like I don't have anyone to talk to. So with proximity, oh geez, sharing the wrong screen. Here we are. Okay, now you can see this page, right? It says membership bonuses. So proximity, I can put the link to this in the chat as well. Proximity is basically our community. This is where we hang out. This is where we connect. This is your opportunity to collaborate, to, you know, be held accountable. Okay, and so in here, we have our weekly tapping. So if you loved the tapping yesterday, we do this each Tuesday. I'm going to be on live in our private Facebook group, and we'll do an EFT tapping session that is on a topic that I feel is relevant for the group. Okay, so keep in mind that everyone who is in any sort of course that Rise Academy has, they will be in proximity. Okay, so it will start to expand and to grow. And this is, so people don't necessarily have to be in default to designed to be in proximity. So if you're feeling like you're not quite ready for default to design the course, you can opt into proximity and still have all these benefits. Okay. Next one, I'm going to do new moon and full moon group calls, because it's just such a powerful way to set the intention. On the new moon is so beautiful for planting seeds. Full moon, release. So maybe on that full moon, we do a little bit of tapping. We can all, like, it's a very much a, like a group, not a group effort, but I'm feeling constantly, I've got my hand on the pulse of the group. Do you know what I mean? I'm constantly feeling what the group needs. Okay. So I also want to say that we're going to do a special new year, new moon vision boarding and intention call, which is so exciting. We're not going to do like vision boarding like we used to in 1992. We're going to do vision boarding from our new awareness. Okay. From this new version of us. So this is going to be really exciting. I'm also going to offer weekly live, I call it Q&A laser coaching, because it's, you know, we're all so connected. And just like I mentioned, like I got the same question multiple times this week about business, online business. There's going to be that, and there always is that within any sort of like experience, in my opinion, in my experience. Okay. So from that, I'm going to take those questions and I'm going to go on live and I'm going to share them. Okay, so you'll have an opportunity to submit specific questions prior to, and then I'll be able to kind of do some coaching and answer some questions live in the group as well. And then of course, community accountability, amazing. That is like a big part of this. Mine was 1982, Diane. Love that. Okay. So community and accountability is the premise of proximity. The premise of proximity. Okay. It's a place where we will love you unconditionally. We will challenge you and we will call you out on your stuff. Okay. Whenever the need arises, we will push you in a very, you know, not a way that hurts, in a nice way to dream even bigger, because I mean, that's what it is. That's what it comes down to, is sometimes that is so, so necessary. And then this leads me into something that I wanted to talk about involving Costa Rica, retreats and experiences. Rise Academy, I've expanded into Rise World Retreats as well. So we've got Rise Academy and we've also got Rise World Retreats, because my grander vision is to have retreats and experiences all over the world, not just Costa Rica. Saying that, I live in Costa Rica, so why not start here? Okay, so we have a retreat planned for March 2024. And I know that there's a few of you that are already planning to be in Costa Rica at that time. It's a beautiful time of the year. It's stunning here. It's just after the dry season. And a really cool thing is that baby turtles hatch around that time, generally in some beaches. So I'm going to take you to see those. So this is not just your like retreat. You know what I mean? Like, okay, so I'm going to use Kyle as an example. Like, you go to Costa Rica and you're living this beautiful experience, and then you go back to reality. You know what I mean? This isn't that. Okay, I don't want that to happen. I want this to be such a kind of like a transformation that it changes you as a person. Okay. It's not just a yoga retreat or a healthy living retreat. This is a very intentional retreat with daily workshops where our scenery will be fantastically beautiful, and we will be able to, I'll have a kind of a program that we work through over the 5 days together. Okay, so it's going to be an opportunity for expansion and for growth. We're also going to, of course, I teach yoga, you guys. I'm going to have daily yoga. We're going to have an in-house Costa Rican chef to come and cook with us and for us. So she's going to teach us as well some Costa Rican classics, and yeah, like next level experiences. We're going to become that version of us that we saw in that visualization. We're going to become her now, okay, or him now. Beach fires, women's circles, all the things, okay? So if the retreat is interesting to you, reach out to me directly, because you can put a deposit down to hold your space. I'm actually going to look at one of the accommodation options tomorrow. I have 2 different options, and I'm really excited to feel them out and take a look. It is going to be an all-inclusive experience where we're living together in a big house. You can have your own room or you can share a room, and swimming pool, incredible view, all of those incredible things. Okay, so again, just reach out to me. Let me put the link for proximity in here. I'm going to send these out via email with the recording. There's proximity. Then I'm going to send out next default to design course, so you guys can take a look. Okay, I love this idea, or this question. Diane asked, any idea of the cost of the retreat? So I don't have the numbers yet, but I do want to say, let's go back to what we just learned. Let's go back to what if I was to make a decision, become a vibrational match to this decision, exist in the possibility of this being a part of my reality now, and then the money can come. What about that? What if and right away, I want you to catch yourself. I want you to listen to what's happening in here. Right away, you might be like, but write that down, right? Write that down. That's gold right there, gold, because that shows you where your current beliefs are. Okay, so I'm not sure of the cost of the retreat yet. That will come very soon, but again, I'm super flexible with payment plans. And yeah, I just got to get the accommodation down. And so, like I said, oh, and I want to say also is it's going to be a smaller group. So there will be that, like, I don't want to just have like 15 people. I don't know if I mentioned this already, but I do want to hold space for the women in this regard. It's going to be a women's retreat. Okay. Sorry for those of you that are watching that are men. Reach out to me directly and tell me if you want me to run a different retreat that welcomes men as well. I'm totally open to it. Okay. So but I have received a little bit of interest, quite a bit actually, of a women's retreat, from a women's retreat. Okay, you guys. So Homework. Let me grab the link for the homework. This is very important. We don't want to stop here. This is just the beginning. The link for the homework is here. It will come out in the email as well. So for those of you watching on the recording, grab it through the email, but also it's on the replay page. And in case you guys haven't noticed, the replay page stays the same all the time. I just add new content to it. Okay, so there's the homework. I really, really encourage you to do the homework. There's a few things on there that will continue to challenge your perception of what's possible. Okay, so the last question is my new identity. So I want you to use this as an opportunity to continue to go big. Okay, write it out, act as, act in the assumption of that being your reality now. Sorry, we've gone way over time, you guys. So yeah, homework, book your calls. You're so welcome, you guys. I'm so excited to connect with each of you. I'm super here to support you no matter where you're at. Okay, you're so welcome, Annette. It's so good to see you guys. So good to reconnect. And I am so excited to welcome some of you into Default to Designed and or Proximity and the retreat. Oh my gosh, you're so welcome. Okay, you guys have an amazing day. And thank you again. Oh, it's so sad that this is our last day. We'll see you again soon. Bye.